this. The senior Hamas leadership is living the good life. They do not live in Gaza. They're safe with their families in other parts of the world.
Hamas is a Palestinian political and military organization governing the Gaza Strip. While pictures on the internet paint the Gaza Strip as a poverty-stricken area, the top leadership of Hamas is far from poor. In fact, they are billionaires. With a shared net worth of $11 billion among the three top Hamas officials, it is no secret that they are filthy rich. And with such wealth comes an opulent lifestyle. From where they live, what they eat and how they travel, the richest Hamas exude an abundance of resources. These are the lives of the richest Hamas. The wealthiest Hamas. Scrutiny into the billionaire lifestyles of Hamas top brass began when Israel's embassy to the US sent out a tweet exposing their wealth. According to the tweet, Abu Marzouk is worth $3 billion, Khaled Mashal is worth $4 billion, Ismail Haniyeh is worth $4 billion, and Hamas's annual turnover is $1 billion. So who exactly are these three billionaires, and why or how did they stumble upon their billions? Ismail Haniyeh, the de facto prime minister of Gaza, is believed to be the richest of the three senior leaders. Despite once vowing to live only on olive oil and za'atar spice, Haniyeh has been living a life of opulence since 2019. He has been hiding in luxury hotels in Qatar and Turkey, where he indulges in the finest accommodations and amenities. Haniyeh's frequent travels take him between Tehran, Istanbul, Moscow and Cairo, where he meets with leaders in friendly nations. His private jet allows him to jet set across the globe, all while the people of Gaza suffer. In social media posts, Haniyeh's sons, Maz and Abdel Salam, can be seen enjoying the high life in Istanbul and Doha. Maz, known as the father of real estate in the Gaza Strip, is a wealthy real estate mogul in his own right. Despite his Islamic faith, he is often seen in the company of attractive women and alcohol when he's in Turkey. The lavish lifestyle of Haniyeh's sons stands in stark contrast to the struggles of the average Gazan. So, who exactly is Ismail Haniyeh? And how did a man who lived only on olive oil and za'atar spice become a billionaire? In the dusty streets of the Al-Shati refugee camp in the Gaza Strip, a young boy named Ismail Haniyeh was born on January 29, 1962. Little did anyone know that this humble beginning would lay the foundation for a remarkable journey that would shape the course of Palestinian politics. Growing up in the midst of adversity, Haniyeh experienced firsthand the struggles and hardships faced by his people. The Al-Shati refugee camp, also known as Beach Camp, was established in the aftermath of the 1948 Arab-Israeli War, housing thousands of Palestinians who were displaced from their homes. It was within this backdrop of displacement and longing for justice that Haniyeh's passion for his people's cause began to take root. As a young man, Haniyeh pursued his education at the Islamic University of Gaza. It was during his time at the university that he became deeply involved with Hamas, an organization that would come to define his life's work. Haniyeh's involvement with Hamas was not merely academic. He immersed himself in the organization's activities, attending meetings, participating in rallies, and engaging in discussions about the Palestinian struggle. His dedication and commitment to the cause caught the attention of his peers and mentors, who recognized his potential as a future leader. As Haniyeh's involvement with Hamas deepened, he quickly rose through the ranks of the organization. In 1997, he was appointed as the head of a Hamas office, further solidifying his position as a key figure within the movement. This appointment marked a turning point in Haniyeh's life, as he transitioned from a passionate activist to a leader responsible for guiding Hamas's operations. Haniyeh's rise within Hamas was not without its challenges. The organization faced constant scrutiny and opposition from both Israeli forces and international entities, but Haniyeh's unwavering determination and strategic thinking allowed him to navigate these obstacles with resilience. His prominence within Hamas continued to grow, and in a historic move, he was appointed as the representative to the Palestinian Authority. This role elevated Haniyeh's status within the political landscape as he became the face of Hamas in negotiations and discussions with other Palestinian factions. But it was in 2006 that Haniyeh's leadership skills and popularity among the people were truly put to the test. In a landmark election, he was elected as the Prime Minister of the State of Palestine, making him the first Hamas member to hold such a position. This victory sent shockwaves through the political establishment as Haniyeh's ascent to power challenged the status quo and signaled a shift in Palestinian politics. However, Haniyeh's tenure as Prime Minister was not without controversy. Tensions between Hamas and the rival Fatah party, led by President Mahmoud Abbas, escalated, leading to a power struggle that threatened to tear the Palestinian Authority apart. In 2007, President Abbas dismissed dismissed Haniyeh, but that did not deter him from exercising prime ministerial authority in the Gaza Strip. More controversy followed due to his refusal to recognize Israel's right to exist, and his unwavering support for armed resistance against Israeli occupation drew criticism from many quarters. The international community viewed Hamas's stance as an obstacle to peace negotiations and a hindrance to the establishment of a two-state solution. Another notable controversy that Haniyeh was involved in, and which further cemented his image in international politics, involved Pope Benedict XVI. In 2006, the Pope made a speech in which he quoted a medieval text that was critical of Islam. In the speech, the Pope said, "Show me just what Muhammad brought that was new, and there you will find things only evil and inhuman, such as his command to spread by the sword the faith he preached." This sparked outrage among Muslims worldwide, and Haniyeh was at the forefront of the protests. He condemned the Pope's remarks and called for a united response from the Muslim community. The Pope was forced to apologize for his remarks. Haniyeh's strong stance on the issue further solidified his image as a vocal advocate for the rights of Muslims. One of the most significant challenges Haniyeh faced during his tenure was the Israeli blockade of the Gaza Strip. In 2007, following Hamas's rise to power, Israel imposed a strict blockade on the territory, severely restricting the flow of goods, services, and humanitarian aid. This blockade had a devastating impact on the people of Gaza, leading to widespread poverty, unemployment, and a humanitarian crisis. In 2017, Haniyeh's role within Hamas took a new turn when he was elected chairman of Hamas's political bureau, replacing Khaled Mashal. This marked a significant shift in power and influence within the organization, further cementing Haniyeh's position as a central figure in Palestinian politics. It is believed that these positions he has held throughout the years have been key in helping him amass all his wealth. In 2010, Egyptian magazine Rose Al Yusuf reported that Haniyeh paid $4 million for a 2,500 square meter parcel of land in Rimal, a beachfront neighborhood of Gaza City. To avoid embarrassment, the land was registered in the name of the husband of Haniyeh's daughter. Since then, there have been reports that Haniyeh has purchased several homes in the Gaza Strip, registered in the names of his children since he has 13 of them. At least with regards to his eldest son, it seems that the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, given his arrest on the Egyptian side of the Rafah border crossing with millions of dollars in cash in possession, which he intended to take into Gaza. Ismail Haniyeh's political journey reflects the enduring complexities of Palestinian politics. He remains a symbol of resistance and determination in the face of adversity. As the political landscape continues to evolve, Haniyeh's role is closely watched and scrutinized, especially because of the vast amount of wealth he has accumulated in what many consider to be corrupt means. The other Hamas leader who is living large is Khaled Mashal. The former head of Hamas's political bureau is another Hamas leader who enjoys a life of luxury. After fleeing Syria to escape the Arab Spring, Mashal settled in Qatar, where he handles real estate and financial transactions for Hamas. When he left Syria, he is said to have taken $1.5 billion from Hamas's headquarters in Damascus. With his immense wealth, Mashal has access to the finest accommodations, dining experiences, and entertainment that money can buy. In the dusty town of Silwad, located in the Jordanian-occupied West Bank, a young boy named Khaled Mashal was born on May 28, 1956. Mashal's family, like many others, was uprooted during the tumultuous Six-Day War in 1967, when Israel occupied the West Bank. Fleeing their home, they sought refuge in Jordan, where Mashal's uncle, Abd al-Qadir, was already residing. It was here that Mashal's journey truly began. Growing up in Jordan, Mashal attended Silwad Elementary School until the 5th grade. His father, Abd al-Qadir Mashal, was a farmer and had moved to Kuwait in 1957 to work in agriculture and as an imam. Mashal's father had even participated in the 1936 to 1939 Arab Revolt alongside the Palestinian guerrilla leader Abd al-Qadir al-Husseini. After settling in Jordan, Mashal and his family joined his uncle in Kuwait, where he completed his high school education. In the early 1970s, he enrolled in the prestigious Abdullah al-Salim Secondary School, where he excelled academically. However, it was during this time that Mashal's political awakening began. In 1971, Mashal joined the Muslim Brotherhood, a prominent Islamic organization, and became actively involved in student politics. His passion for justice and his desire to make a difference in the lives of Palestinians fueled his commitment to the cause. The turning point in Mashal's life came in 1983, when the Palestinian Islamic movement convened a closed conference in an Arab state. This conference brought together delegates from the West Bank, Gaza Strip, and Palestinian refugees from Arab states, laying the foundation for the creation of Hamas. Mashal, with his unwavering dedication and leadership qualities, played a significant role in the project's development. After 1984, he devoted himself to Hamas on a full-time basis, working tirelessly to establish the organization as a force to be reckoned with. Mashal's involvement in the creation of Hamas Hamas marked a turning point in his life as he became a founding member of its Politburo. As the years went by, Mashal's leadership within Hamas grew stronger. He became the chairman of the Politburo in 1996, following the imprisonment of his predecessor Musa Mohammed Abu Marzouk in 1995. Under Mashal's guidance, Hamas continued to gain momentum and support among Palestinians. However, one of the toughest periods of his time as a Hamas leader was getting closer, one that would see him almost lose his life. In the annals of history, there are moments that define the course of a person's life. For Khalid Mashal, one such moment came on September 25, 1997, when Mossad agents acting under orders from Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu attempted to assassinate him in a shocking turn of events. Disguised as tourists, the Mossad agents entered Jordan on fake Canadian passports. Two of them lay in wait at the entrance of the Hamas offices in Jordan's capital, Amman. As Mashal walked into his office, one of the agents approached him from behind, holding a device to his left ear. Unbeknownst to Mashal, this device transmitted a fast-acting poison. However, Mashal's bodyguards, vigilant and suspicious of the unfolding situation, sprang into action. They chased down and captured the agents, preventing them from escaping. Other agents involved in the operation were also apprehended, exposing the audacious plot. In an interview recounting the harrowing incident, Mashal described the attack as a loud noise and an electric shock in his ear. Initially, he believed the agents had failed to harm him, but as the day progressed, he developed severe symptoms, including a pounding headache and uncontrollable vomiting. His life hung in the balance. News of the assassination attempt spread like wildfire, sending shockwaves through the political landscape. Jordan's King Hussein, fearing the repercussions of Mashal's death, demanded that Netanyahu turn over the antidote for the poison. He threatened to sever diplomatic relations and even put the detained Mossad agents on trial. The situation quickly escalated, with Israeli-Jordanian relations deteriorating rapidly. King Hussein even went so far as to threaten to void the historic 1994 peace agreement between the two countries if Mashal were to die. The international community watched with bated breath as tensions reached a boiling point. It was at this critical juncture that US President Bill Clinton intervened, recognizing the potential for a catastrophic outcome. He compelled Netanyahu to provide the antidote, urging a peaceful resolution to the crisis. Netanyahu, under pressure, consented to Clinton's request. The head of Mossad, Danny Yatum, flew to Jordan with the antidote, ready to save Mashal's life. The doctors at King Hussein Medical Center, where Mashal lay in a coma, observed symptoms consistent with an opioid overdose. Administering the antidote, they fought to stabilize his condition, ultimately saving his life. Despite this, Mashal went on to cement his position among Hamas top brass and accumulated vast amounts of wealth. His investment portfolio consists of banks in Egypt and real estate projects in the Arabian Gulf countries, while himself living luxuriously in Qatar. During the 2014 Gaza war, Israel accused Mashal of corruption. In an interview, Israel's Prime Minister Netanyahu said, "This guy Khalid Mashal, he's roaming around five-star hotel suites in the Gulf states. He's having the time of his life while he's deliberately putting his people as fodder for this horrible terrorist war that they're conducting against us." Mashal has vehemently denied the corruption accusations. Musa Abu Marzouk, considered the second in command within Hamas, is another high flyer within the group. After spending 14 years in the US, where he was arrested for activities supporting terrorism, he moved to Jordan, then to Syria, and finally settled in Cairo in 2012. Despite his arrest and deportation from the US, Marzouk managed to hold on to his wealth. Bild reported his fortune to be around $2 billion, while the Israeli embassy to the US suggested it is as high as $3 billion. With his immense wealth, Marzouk has access to the finest luxuries and comforts. It is reported that back in the early 1990s, Marzouk launched a fundraising campaign in the US among wealthy Muslims, and at the same time founded several banking operations. Marzouk has reportedly turned himself into a conglomerate of 10 financial enterprises, giving loans and making investments, thus increasing his wealth even more. Another wealthy Hamas official, Iman Taha, is not on the organization's highest levels, but he too is feeding from the trough. According to reports, he was a poor, rebellious kid from the Al-Borg refugee camp, but he recently built a home in central Gaza worth at least $1 million. He's responsible for coordination between overseas Hamas and Hamas in the Gaza Strip, and he's not even a leading figure, but he's already among the millionaires. The person leading Hamas inside the Gaza Strip, Yahya Sinwar, has also amassed a considerable fortune, estimated at $1 to $3 million, according to the BBC. Sinwar, who was born in the Khan Yunis refugee camp during Egypt's rule of the Gaza Strip, is the founder of the Hamas Security Service. Although he was sentenced to 4 life sentences in Israel in 1988, he was released in a deal to bring back captured Israeli soldier Gilad Shalit and was reinstated as a senior Hamas leader. In 2017, he was appointed chief of Hamas in the Gaza Strip. In addition, there is the person known to the Palestinians as the Brain, Anthony to the Israelis as the cat with 9 lives, and now also as the planner of the most recent terrorist attack. For years, Israel has considered Mohammed Deif among the most wanted Hamas leaders, as well as among the most elusive. To date, a total of 3 photos of Deif have been issued. One of Deif in his 20s, another in which he wears a mask, and a third where only his shadow is visible. Deif, who leads the Izz ad-Din al-Qassam brigades, the military wing of the Hamas movement, was nicknamed thanks to having evaded 7 Israeli assassination attempts, the last one in 2021. According to media sources, at June 1st, 2023, Deif's estimated net worth was approximately $5 million. So how exactly do Hamas officials get all this money? It is obvious that they are not business moguls. So how did they stumble upon all this wealth and riches? The answer to this will shock you, as the US government is also implicated. The origins of Hamas. In the tumultuous landscape of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, one organization has emerged as a powerful force, challenging the status quo and advocating for the rights of the Palestinian people. This organization is Hamas. To truly understand the origins of Hamas, we must delve into its roots and the circumstances that led to its formation. Hamas was founded in 1987 by Ahmed Yassin, a Palestinian imam and activist who sought to establish an organization that would fight against the Israeli occupation and champion the cause of Palestinian liberation. But to fully comprehend the rise of Hamas, we must first explore its connection to the Muslim Brotherhood. The Muslim Brotherhood, a pan-Islamic organization founded in Egypt in the 1920s, sought to establish Islamic states based on Sharia law. Its ideology resonated with many Palestinians who were frustrated with the ongoing Israeli occupation and the perceived lack of progress in achieving Palestinian statehood. The Muslim Brotherhood's influence spread throughout the region, and its ideology found fertile ground among Palestinians. Ahmed Yassin, a charismatic figure, recognized the need for a Palestinian organization that would challenge Israel's dominance and fight for the rights of the Palestinian people. With this vision in mind, he gathered like-minded individuals and established Hamas as a political and military entity. Hamas emerged from the Muslim Brotherhood, adopting its ideology and principles. The organization's core belief was that armed resistance was the only way to achieve Palestinian liberation and the establishment of an Islamic Palestinian state encompassing Israel, the West Bank, and the Gaza Strip. Hamas rejected any negotiations or compromises with Israel, viewing armed resistance as the only viable path to freedom. As Hamas gained momentum, it quickly became a prominent player in the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. The group's anti-Israeli stance resonated with many Palestinians who felt marginalized and oppressed under Israeli occupation. Hamas presented itself as a champion of Palestinian nationalism, appealing to the frustrations and aspirations of the people. Hamas's social service wing, known as Dawa, played a crucial role in solidifying its support base. The organization provided much-needed assistance to Palestinians, offering healthcare, education, and other essential services. This approach allowed Hamas to gain popularity and support among the Palestinian population, further strengthening its position as a significant player in the region. However, it was Hamas's military wing, the Izz ad-Din al-Qassam brigades, that garnered the most attention. The brigades employed guerrilla tactics and carried out acts of violence, including suicide bombings and rocket attacks on Israel. These actions, while shocking and condemned by many, were seen by Hamas as necessary in the fight against Israeli occupation. Hamas's increasing involvement in the Israeli-Palestinian conflict did not go unnoticed. The organization's confrontational stance towards Israel and its rejection of negotiations drew international attention and condemnation. Many countries, including the United States and the European Union, designated Hamas as a terrorist organization, citing its use of violence against civilians. However, there are also countries that do not consider Hamas a terrorist organization. Afghanistan, Algeria, Iran, Russia, Norway, Turkey, China, Egypt, Syria, and Brazil are among the nations that view Hamas's armed struggle as legitimate resistance against Israeli occupation. These countries argue that Hamas is fighting for the rights of the Palestinian people and should be recognized as a legitimate political entity. Despite the controversy surrounding its tactics, Hamas continued to gain support within Palestinian society. Its unwavering anti-Israeli stance and its commitment to armed resistance resonated with many Palestinians who felt that peaceful negotiations had failed to bring about meaningful change. Hamas's popularity grew and it became a significant force in Palestinian politics. However, the million-dollar question is, where does Hamas get its funding from? From having a strong armed resistance force to billionaire officials, Hamas is definitely getting funds from somewhere, and the paper trail will shock you as some of it leads all the way back to the White House. Hamas relies on a global financing network to funnel support from charities and friendly nations. Their funding methods are as diverse as they are audacious, allowing them to sustain sustain their operations despite mounting international restrictions. According to experts and officials, Hamas employs a range of tactics to secure funds. One of their primary sources is taxes levied on businesses within their territory. These taxes contribute a significant portion to their budget, which is estimated to be over $300 million. But Hamas's funding goes far beyond local sources. They have mastered the art of passing cash through Gaza tunnels, a clandestine method that allows them to bypass scrutiny and access funds from various sources. Most of the money that went into the pockets of people in the Gaza Strip was obtained through tunnel deals and the creation of a flourishing smuggling market, which it is believed has created several hundred millionaires in the Gaza Strip. According to sources in Gaza, Haniya's wealth, like others high up in Hamas, came primarily from the flourishing tunnel industry. Senior Hamas figures, Haniya included, would levy 20% taxation on all of the trade passing through the tunnels. According to one source, senior Hamas leaders charged a 25% tax and $2,000 on every disassembled vehicle coming through the tunnels. There are hundreds of smuggling tunnels from Egypt to Gaza, and these are the types of tunnels Israel has been less busy in destroying because Egypt has destroyed many of them. From June 2007 until 2010, $800 million in cash was transferred in tunnel deals, according to information from Hamas money traders. Hamas also taxes Gaza merchants on everything traded, from boxes of vegetables to luxury cars, and the leaders scoop the money into their pockets. The tunnels in Rafah, the town straddling the Gaza-Egypt border, for example, saw a flourishing fuel smuggling industry from Sinai. The fuel, subsidized by the Egyptian government, was entering Gaza at a low price, but being sold for 8 times that. Those who made the greatest profits from the sale of the fuel were Hamas members, even as Egypt often reported shortages for its own people. Unlike the secrecy surrounding the tunnels themselves, their role in enriching Hamas and its supporters has long been out in the open. Today, more than half of the residents of Gaza live in severe poverty, but already in 2012, there were reports of some 600 millionaires living in Gaza, who made their fortunes thanks to the hundreds of underground tunnels along the border between the Gaza Strip and Egypt. In recent years, Hamas has also turned to cryptocurrencies, credit cards, and contrived trade deals to avoid detection. Their use of cryptocurrencies in particular has raised eyebrows. They have become one of the more successful users of crypto for financing terrorism. Hamas has been able to exploit the anonymity and traceability features of cryptocurrencies to their advantage, which has allowed them to receive funds from supporters around the world while evading traditional financial systems. However, it's worth noting that the ledger system of cryptocurrencies can make these transactions traceable. This has made it easier for authorities to target their fundraising efforts. Shockingly, blockchain researchers TRM Labs revealed that crypto fundraising by Hamas has increased following rounds of violence involving the group. After the fighting in May 2021, Hamas-controlled crypto addresses received more than $400,000. However, since the recent surge of violence in 2023, prominent Hamas-linked support groups have only managed to move a few $1,000s through crypto. TRM Labs suggests that Israeli authorities are targeting them immediately, resulting in a decrease in donation volume. In fact, Israel has seized cryptocurrency worth tens of millions of dollars from Hamas-linked addresses in recent years. Between December 2021 and April this year, almost 190 crypto accounts linked to Hamas were seized by Israeli authorities. Apart from that, after large losses in 2023, and because of the ability to track transactions in the cryptocurrency accounting system, senior Hamas officials said they would stay away from these currencies. It is likely that these crypto losses will be easily recouped thanks to support from Iran, which last year significantly increased annual funding for Hamas's military wing from $100 million to about $350 million. Despite these setbacks in the crypto space, Hamas continues to find ways to fund its activities. They have established a secret network of companies managing $500 million in investments across various countries, including Turkey and Saudi Arabia. The US Treasury, in a bold move, announced sanctions on these firms in May 2022, exposing the extent of Hamas's financial reach and their ability to operate through legitimate channels. But Hamas's funding network extends beyond these sources. Iran, a staunch supporter of the Palestinian cause, provides up to $100 million annually in support to Palestinian groups, including Hamas. Being a major backer of the group, it not only provides financial aid but also weapons and training. Their methods of moving the money include shell companies, shipping transactions, and even precious metals. The Iranian regime sees Hamas as a valuable proxy in its regional power struggle against Israel and its allies. Backing the Palestinian cause has been a pillar of the Islamic Republic since the 1979 revolution and a way for the country to fashion itself as a leader of the Muslim world. The hundreds of millions of dollars that Iran has reportedly provided to Hamas enables the group group to carry out its militant activities and maintain its infrastructure. This financial support has allowed Hamas to acquire sophisticated weaponry, including rockets and explosives, posing a significant threat to Israel's security. Another prominent player in the funding of Hamas is Qatar. The small Gulf nation has been a generous benefactor, providing financial aid and investments to the Palestinian territories since 2014. Their funding passes through Israel, with Israeli and UN officials hand-carrying cash over the border to Gaza. This aid directly benefits the poorest Palestinian families and public servants in Gaza, helping to maintain stability and improve the quality of life for Palestinian families. The cash is distributed directly to needy families and public servants in Gaza, and each family or individual must sign next to their name that they've received the cash. One copy of that sheet goes to Israel, one goes to the UN, and one goes to Qatar. But who is to say that this cash doesn't find its way to Hamas's pockets? In recent years, Qatar bought fuel from Israel for Gaza's sole power station. It also sent Egyptian fuel that Hamas can resell, using the proceeds for salaries. Qatar's foreign policy is a delicate balancing act. While hosting the region's largest US military base and mediating with various groups, they have managed to facilitate the flow of funds to Gaza. Qatar is home to US Central Command's forward base in the Middle East at the giant Al Udeid Air Base, which itself is vital to Air Force operations in the Gulf. Qatar is not the only source of Hamas's cash. The group is also suspected to have taken in nearly $400 million in the last 2 years from the UN, which does not recognize Hamas as a terrorist organization. The United Nations Relief and Works Agency has provided Palestinians with $380 million since 2021. Much of that cash came from the Biden administration, which has provided $1 billion to the United Nations Relief and Works Agency since 2021. Critics argue that the United Nations Relief and Works Agency's presence in Gaza and its reliance on local staff make it susceptible to Hamas's influence. They claim that some of the agency's employees may have affiliations with the group, raising concerns about the potential diversion of funds and resources. However, it is important to note that the UN agency has consistently denied these allegations and maintains that it operates independently and impartially. The issue of international aid and its potential misuse by Hamas is a complex and sensitive one. While the majority of aid organizations strive to ensure transparency and accountability, the presence of militant groups in conflict zones poses significant challenges. As the conflict between Hamas and Israel persists, the financial support received by Hamas remains a contentious issue as the group's leadership continues to enrich themselves. It is a complex web of international aid with implications for the lives of those in Gaza and the broader geopolitical landscape. Our investigation into the funding secrets of Hamas has shed light on the audacity and resourcefulness of this militant group. The methods they employ to secure funds, from local taxes to international support, have allowed them to sustain their operations despite mounting restrictions. If you enjoyed this video, click on the boxes playing on your screen to watch similar content.